You can call me Yes Man. Okay. Yes! I'm not complaining.
Viva New Vegas! Viva New Vegas! Viva, Viva New Vegas!
Sorry if that was getting boring.
In our last episode, we completely wrapped up everything in the Mojave to further a victory for an independent New Vegas at the looming Second Battle of Hoover Dam. This culminated in pleading with the followers of the Apocalypse for their support after the battle. We had to convince them to stick around at the Old Mormon Fort to tend to the wounded and dying, who will likely stream into the fort after the battle. We only get her to say yes if we're already idolized with the followers of the Apocalypse, but assuming that we do, we can return to the penthouse at the Lucky 38 to tell Yes Man that we've succeeded in this optional objective.
Are you ready to head for the dam? Caesar's Legion is due to attack at any moment.
I made arrangements with the followers, and now I'm ready to fight at the dam.
Great! So I've been looking over Mr. House's force projections and running some calculations.
Yes Man says something different here, depending on our choices in the game. If we destroyed House's Securitron army, hiding within the Securitron vault beneath the fort, Yes Man says,
It turns out there's only one way for us to win this battle and make it stick. We have to render Hoover Dam inoperable.
He has the same reactions to both of the top responses, so we'll say, but Yes Man, the dam is too valuable to destroy.
That's exactly why this will work. Just hear me out. You remember how the Securitron army at the fort got destroyed? For very, very good reasons, of course. Well, the problem is that's left us with enough Securitrons to drive off a weakened NCR for us, but not enough to keep them from coming back. So what we do is take away the whole reason why they'd want to come back. Smart, huh?
He again has the same responses to both of these options. So we'll say, so wait a minute, you want me to destroy Hoover Dam? What do I do?
Not the whole thing, thank goodness. That'd be really hard. All you have to do is destroy the power generators. Without the generators, Hoover Dam's just a big bunch of concrete. Take this override module. It's just like the one you used at the El Dorado substation. Install the override module on the terminal in the power control room. I'll disable the generator failsafes and you can do the rest. Good luck! See you at the dam.
Or, if instead of destroying the Securitron vault, we awakened the slumbering army, Yes Man says,
It turns out there are two ways we can win this thing. Hear that? We have options. You could route the dam's power output to the facility under Fortification Hill. That'll restart its reactor, just like you did with the Lucky 38. That'll wake up the Securitron army you left on standby and give us enough force to push the Legion and the NCR straight out of the Mojave. The other option is destroy the dam's generators. Without those, it's just a big bunch of concrete. The NCR won't have any reason to stick around. You don't have to decide yet. For now, all you have to do is take this override module and install it on the terminal in the power control room. Good luck. See you at the dam.
With a couple of options before us, we now have to commit to the battle. You are committing to fight for an independent Vegas at the Battle for Hoover Dam, which will determine the fate of New Vegas for decades to come. If there's anything you want to do before you enter the battle, do it now, before you cross the point of no return. When we are ready, we can say, let's do this. With that, we arrive at Hoover Dam and begin the quest, No Gods, No Masters. We always arrive at 2 p.m., and if we take our time by going through this part of the quest, it's dark by the time we reach the Legate's camp. There are a few things that I'd like to show off during the day, so the time of day is going to change pretty frequently throughout the rest of this footage. Also, there's one thing that I never showed off during the other three endings. When we arrive during the second battle for Hoover Dam, we find a new radio broadcast. Our Pip-Boy picks up a new radio frequency, the NCR emergency radio signal. I'll go ahead and play what we pick up on this signal while we fight across the top of Hoover Dam.
We must get to the control room.
Am I broadcasting?
Install the override chip.
I'm broadcasting? Shit, okay. This is the NCR emergency channel. It sounds like the Hoover Dam is under attack. Stay tuned. There is some sort of obstruction on the road to Hoover Dam. We're going to do our best to send reinforcements around. Unit 15, reinforce Unit 16 at Defense Point Sigma Delta. Delta Squad, redeploy. Unit 4, reinforce Unit 8. All unit commands, relay your current position and status. Unit 23, await reinforcement from Unit 42. They're coming out of the walls, man. They're coming out of the damn walls. Location Bravo, Bravo, Charlie. The doctor is coming. Snipers in position. Repeat, snipers in position. Deploying Battalion 14 to the southwestern flank. All units, be aware we are receiving help from a non-NCR military asset.
And from there, it repeats. Now, of course, if we convince the cons to fight with the NCR, they won't be hostile here. And of course, it's possible for the boomers and the remnants to appear to support us, depending on our choices in the game. I've already covered all of these options, so I'm going to skip it now. Instead, we'll fight our way through and discover what has changed if we choose an independent Vegas. One of the things that changes is the visitor center is completely boarded up inside. If we head inside to take a shortcut to the offices below, we see that the elevator and all of the doors are boarded up with furniture, so we do have to go across the top of Hoover Dam. One of the first things the Legion did is they destroyed one of the howitzers that the NCR had on this side of the dam. Like with the NCR and house endings, the Legion swarms us from the intake towers, and so we have to fight through wave after wave of them. There are two towers on the NCR side of the dam. The first is the tower from which the legionary assassin tried to assassinate the NCR president. We can enter here, but there's nothing here to further the quest. Instead, we need to bypass the first intake tower and kill the guards at the Hoover Dam checkpoint. We can't enter the checkpoint like we can with both the NCR and the Legion ending. Instead, once the guards are dead, we have to enter the second tower. This second tower has a functional elevator, which we can use to reach the Hoover Dam offices below. Once in the offices, this plays out almost exactly as it does during the house ending. We turn left, go down a hallway, turn left again, until we find the corpses of legionaries on the floor before two power armor wearing NCR soldiers.
Stop right there. No one is allowed into the control room. You shouldn't be here. It's best if you just move along.
We could always start combat with these guys, which will ruin our NCR reputation, which we kind of need right now to get through this. Or we can say, it's okay, I'm a friend.
Friend or not, no one is allowed in here. Move along.
But it's important that I get in there.
It's probably more important than you get out of here alive. You haven't noticed there's a battle going on here. Now get out of here.
Or we can pass a 75 speech check to lie and say Colonel Moore is in trouble. She needs your help now.
Damn it all to hell, let's go!
With the guards gone, we can open the big double door to enter the control room. And at the end of the room, we find a large monitor bank. This is the control box, and it's here where we install the override chip. But the conversation that goes on here is different depending on the choices we made. If we destroyed House's Securitron army...
This is neat. From this console, I could have routed the dam's power input over to the fort and activated that dormant army of Securitrons. So, go ahead and blow up the dam's generators. And when that's done, head back upside and finish off the Legion and the NCR.
But if instead we awoke the Securitron army...
Hi! Nice to see you again! So, we can blow up the dam's generators, or I could route the dam's entire power output to the fort. That'll activate a certain army of Securitrons and set them loose to ravage the Legion. What do you say?
Now, even though we fully upgraded the Securitron army beneath the fort, and all we have to do now is power them up, we still find an option to destroy the dam. I want this dam out of operation.
Right! Who wants a vast army of mechanical servants to savage your enemy? Why make it easy? I'm setting the generators to blow just like you asked. Hit the manual switch, then go topside and deal with the Legion and NCR.
If we choose this option, or if it's the only one available to us, when we leave the control room, we have to turn right. As we pass by monitors lining the walls, we see the face of Yes Man appear, until eventually we reach the door to Hoover Dam Power Plant number 1. On the other side of this door, we find a switch against the eastern wall called the West Power Plant Control Box. This box controls the power to the west side of the power plant. We can leave the control box alone, or overload it and blow it up.
You're just in time for your ass.
With that, we make the NCR very angry. And even though I had idolized reputation with the NCR by the time I started working with Yes Man, after destroying the generators when I headed back towards the offices, I found a squadron of NCR, including 2 flamethrower-wielding heavy troopers who immediately attacked. Alternatively, instead of destroying the generators, we can choose to send power to the fort.
Yes! This is gonna be fun! I'm unlocking the East Power Plant. Hit the manual switch, then go topside and deal with the Legion and NCR.
This is the option we had to choose if siding with House. To continue, when we leave the control room, we turn left. After killing a few legionaries who come up from the tunnels below, we follow the hallways until they turn south. Here we can open a door where we find another generator. This time, however, we turn west to flip the East Power electrical switch. This switch controls the power to the east side of the power plant. We can leave it alone or turn on the switch. Choosing this option does not make the NCR turn further hostile. They likely don't even know what just happened, or if they do, where this power is going. Once done, we can return to the top of Hoover Dam by exiting out the eastern part of the plant. This brings us to a tower on the other side of the checkpoint. When we arrive back on the top of the dam, if we chose to destroy the generators, then we don't see anything out of the ordinary at the top of Fortification Hill. Instead, the few Securitrons we have begin to attack the Legion. However, if instead we diverted power to the fort and awoke House's Securitron army, we find the fort in flames, as the Securitron army invades whatever is left of the fort, destroying everything there. But remember, there is still the camp of legionaries at the base of Fortification Hill, and the Legate himself awaits us at the Legate's camp. We still have much to do. Facing east, we can kill more legionaries who come out of yet another intake tower. Continue southeast, where we see our Securitrons fighting with even more legionaries and possibly the NCR, depending on the choices we made. Once on the opposite side, we can cross a scrap bridge to follow the road east towards the Legate's camp. We get rushed by a few more Centurions before we can open the gate to the camp. This encounter plays out exactly as it did with the House and NCR endings. We find our way through the camp until we crest a hill and are stopped in our tracks by Legate Lanius himself.
An envoy of Vegas, yet you carry yourself for battle.
Despite fighting for an independent Vegas, all of the dialogue options we have here with Legate Lanius revolve around the NCR. We either have to fight him or convince him that the NCR is too powerful to defeat here. We strangely don't find any option to talk about what the Courier has done or the Courier's new robot army. After dispatching Legate Lanius, we begin to leave the camp when General Oliver arrives. He does have new dialogue options, better tailored towards an independent ending. However, strangely, most of the options we have to respond to him garners the same reaction. So to continue, I'll simply choose one to move forward.
Caesar on the cross. Been a long time since I've seen the kind of work you've laid down today. A damn long time. And the screams of those Legion bastards as they kick dirt running east like a choir of angels to my ears. Speaking of, that crazy light show over the fort? What the fuck was that? Some kind of thumb of God you called down? Amazing. Fucking amazing. Could use 100 of you. Just scatter you over the east like jacks. Give those plum fucks the what for.
Strangely enough, he mentions the light show over the fort, even if we chose to destroy the generators. If that is our choice, he doesn't even mention it here. Hold that thought, General. I wanted to introduce you to some friends.
And, well, these boys with you? Hello there, Smiley.
The Securitron army that had just finished ravaging the fort arrives at the gate to the Legate's camp, along with Yes Man.
Guess it ain't no secret how you, I say, can you ask them to put their weapons down? I was just reaching in my coat to give you a cigar.
Now, at any time during this conversation, we can simply say, Securitrons, erase NCR from this area.
Figured as much. Come on, you sons of bitches, we're ready.
Also goad the NCR into violence with a couple of other dialogue options, which we'll go over in a minute. Alternatively, we'll say, the dam is won for me. You and the Legion have both lost this day.
I would sooner spit on the grave of my dead mother than let some courier walk the wasteland fuck talk to me like that. Who the hell do you think you are? Looking to cash your chips to the sound of NCR bullets, huh? I can oblige.
I don't want any more violence. There's been enough today.
Look, I know you're riding high right now, but let me tell you, you ain't pissing on me right now. You're pissing on the bear. You've been far enough west, I'm guessing, to know how far that claw stretches. Fuck with the bear and...
I make the laws here now, and my law is simple. No NCR on the Colorado.
You want me to make tracks out of here? Head back west? Tail between our legs? No. I came for a fight today. And if you're looking to make me budge, you better have a damn good left hook or I'm not going anywhere.
At this point, we can give him an ultimatum to goad them into violence. Look, either you're going to leave or you're going to fight. So decide.
I think you're cashed out enough to know my chances are pretty good. And like I said, I'm not leaving the dam now the Legion's been broken.
Over here. It is possible to die here, as we'll see in a minute. But if we can last long enough, the Securitrons wipe up the NCR. Or instead we can say, you think these robots are all the forces I have?
Right now, that's all that's standing there. Well, except for the corpses. So that's your plan? Hold the dam here all by your lonesome?
This unlocks a new speech option. We have two here, both of which are 100 speech checks. We can say, I just stood down Caesar's toughest general. You think I won't?
No. No, you're here in the Legate's camp first. I think that says enough.
Or we can pass another 100 speech check to bluff and say, you came here for a damn good fight, what? Because you're talking right now and not attacking?
Yeah. But I wasn't expecting a fight when I came up here. And now that we're talking, I don't like the sound of things. Do you know what you're doing? Making a nation like you think you're doing ain't like chowing down on a pile of fancy lad snack cakes. Think you got the guts to carve out a frontier? Build towns, protect the roads, run supplies, train troops?
I guarantee I've put more thought into the state of the Mojave than you or anyone in NCR.
Hell. Can't believe we got suckered by some road jockey. Should have watched the flank while Caesar's best was making all that noise. I know what those robots of yours can do on a bad day, and I'm not eager to toss lies at them just to make a point. But if you're taking this place, you better hope you can hold it. I'll give my superiors my opinion, but I don't think they're going to listen. So if NCR comes at you, and it will, pray you're ready. I promise you, our situation's reversed, I'd see you hang.
Now here, we have a few options that do garner different responses. We can respond to his threat by saying, I see. Yes, man. Please throw General Oliver from the dam.
What the hell? No, get away from me, you goddamn TV on wheels.
That was nice, but you know what? I want more. Let's see what that looked like from some other angles. Lovely. And at that point, Yes Man arrives to bid us farewell. But if we don't want to murder Oliver, we can instead goad him into attacking again by saying insults. Tisk tisk. Securitrons, please erase all trace of NCR from the area.
Figured as much. Come on, you sons of bitches, we're ready.
In which case, we get the same battle. But as I said earlier, it is possible to die here. But the only option we have to move forward without killing Oliver or having the NCR attack is to say, "Nice threat, Oliver, is that all? Because I've got work to do, and NCR words don't mean much around here."
Fine. Come on, men, we're moving out.
And with that, the NCR put away their weapons and retreat.
You did a super job wrapping things up, and I'm not just saying that because I have to. I didn't want to make a big deal about this until after we won, but, well, I found some code snippets in one of Mr. House's databanks that will let me, reprogram my personality to be a little more assertive, basically. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and it's going to take me a while, so it'll seem like I'm offline. But don't worry. Everything will be okay. I've updated the Securitrons' targeting parameters so they know what to do. Vegas will be protected. So that's where I'll be, off making a few changes. And I guess I'll see you around. We accomplished a lot together. It was fun. Take care.
And with that, the game ends. We'll now go through all of the Yes Man game endings.
And so the courier who had cheated death in the cemetery outside Good Springs cheated death once again, and the Mojave Wasteland was forever changed.
If we sided with Yes Man without upgrading House's Securitron army,
The courier, with the aid of Yes Man, drove both the Legion and the NCR from Hoover Dam, securing New Vegas's independence from both factions. With Mr. House out of the picture, the remaining Securitrons on the Strip were hard-pressed to keep order. Anarchy ruled the streets. When the fires died, New Vegas remained, assuming its position as an independent power in the Mojave.
but if we did activate his army beneath the fort,
The courier, with the aid of Yes Man, drove both the Legion and the NCR from Hoover Dam, securing New Vegas's independence from both factions. With Mr. House out of the picture, part of the Securitron army was diverted to the Strip to keep order. Any chaos on the streets was ended. Quickly. Chaos became uncertainty, then acceptance with minimal loss of life. New Vegas assumed its position as an independent power in the Mojave.
if we sided with Yes Man and had bad karma,
Supporting all the chaos that comes with independence, the courier was the man responsible for a truly free New Vegas. He ensured the fall of Mr. House and the end of the Legion's and NCR's influence over New Vegas.
if we sided with Yes Man but had neutral karma,
Preferring neither the best of the NCR nor the worst of the Legion, the courier was the man responsible for a truly independent New Vegas. He had removed Mr. House from power over the Strip and broken the influence of the NCR and Caesar's Legion in the Mojave Wasteland.
and if we sided with Yes Man but had good karma,
Supporting the ideals of independence, the courier was recognized as the woman responsible for a truly free New Vegas. She ensured that Mr. House's tyranny was broken and that neither Caesar's Legion nor NCR would ever gain control over New Vegas.
if we chose to kill Pearl and Loyal, the leaders of the Boomers,
Without organized leadership, the remaining boomers slowly drifted away, leaving Nellis Air Force Base to be flooded by prospectors and scavengers. All of the boomers' accumulated knowledge quickly scattered, and their existence slowly faded from memory.
if we chose to ignore the Boomers and we never finished their quest Volare,
With little law left in the wasteland, the boomers continued to defend themselves against the prospectors and scavengers invading their territory.
but if we completed their quest and we convinced them to help us at the second battle for Hoover Dam,
Though the wasteland became anarchic after Hoover Dam, the boomers' display of power dissuaded fortune seekers from attempting to penetrate Nellis.
if we destroyed the Brotherhood's Hidden Valley bunker,
Buried beneath tons of rubble, the Mojave chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel was no more. Those few who were outside the Hidden Valley bunker when it was destroyed settled into new lives, or headed west to find a new chapter to join.
or if we completed the Brotherhood's quests by putting Paladin Hardin in charge of the Brotherhood, and we then sided with Yes Man,
The Brotherhood used the Battle of Hoover Dam as an opportunity to retake Helios 1, and came to control the area between it and Hidden Valley. With no organized opposition, their patrols began monitoring trade along I-15 and 95, seizing any items of technology they deemed inappropriate.
Or if we completed the Brotherhood's quests by leaving Elder McNamara in charge of the Brotherhood, and if we convinced them to support the NCR during the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, and then chose to side with Yes Man.
Due to their temporary truce, the Brotherhood allowed the NCR to retreat from the Mojave Wasteland without incident. In the relative peace that followed, Brotherhood patrols appeared along major roads, harassing travelers over any bits of technology they had.
If we completed Veronica's personal quest by convincing her to stay with the Brotherhood at Hidden Valley, but we never finished the Brotherhood's quests, and then we sided with Yes Man.
Veronica put her moral sensibilities aside and supported the Brotherhood's new campaign of aggression as best she could. Yet, deep down, she understood that it meant their end would surely be soon to follow.
Or if we convinced Veronica to abandon the Brotherhood and join the followers of the Apocalypse, and then we sided with Yes Man.
The Brotherhood's open aggression along the New Vegas highways troubled Veronica greatly. Nevertheless, it removed all doubt from her mind that in leaving them, she had made the right choice. Eventually, she would take to the road, less in hopes of finding a new home than of leaving memories of the old one behind her.
If we never killed any of the Fiend's leadership and then sided with Yes Man.
The Fiends overran Camp McCarran during the Second Battle of Hoover Dam. In the anarchic months that followed, the Fiends asserted dominance over Outer Vegas.
If we killed some Fiend leaders and then sided with Yes Man.
The Fiends attacked Camp McCarran during the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, and, despite suffering heavy losses, overran it. They continued to be a nuisance throughout Outer Vegas, but never established full control over the area.
If we killed all of the Fiend leaders.
Their leaders destroyed by the Courier, the Fiends scattered throughout the wasteland. Without the organization of Motor Runner, Cook, Violet, and Driver Nephi, they were easy prey.
If for some reason Julie Farkas ended up dying.
With no clear leader to guide efforts in Freeside, the followers of the Apocalypse lost control of Old Mormon Fort to local thugs and junkies. Eventually, using the followers' remaining supplies to manufacture drugs, the Old Mormon Fort quickly devolved into little more than a junkie den.
But if instead she's alive, and we chose to side with Yes Man, the followers get the following ending whether or not we did the optional quest to convince the followers to stay behind, and by promising them support from House's Securitron army.
After the Courier ensured New Vegas remained free, the followers found that independent Vegas was even more unstable and violent than before. Old Mormon Fort became excessively burdened by the influx of patients, struggling to provide even the most basic of services.
I covered Arcade Gannon's Yes Man endings in my video on him, so skipping straight to Good Springs, if we killed everyone at Good Springs, or sided with the Powder Gangers there.
Travelers continued to stop by Good Springs Source for water on the Long 15, but rarely would anyone venture into the ruins of Good Springs itself. Those who did were almost always tourists, come to visit the graveyard where the Courier rose from the dead.
But if instead we completed their quest Ghost Town gunfight in favor of Good Springs and then sided with Yes Man.
With New Vegas's independence formally declared, Good Springs thrived. More travelers stopped by Good Springs on their way to and from the Strip, and the locals grew prosperous from the traffic.
Cass lived to see the Courier bring down 3 armies, and by her count, that was 3 more than she'd expected. She kept quiet about that, though.
If we choose to kill Papa Khan and Regis.
After generations of being beaten down, the great Khans were finally broken by the Courier. Those few who avoided the Courier's wrath moved north into the wilderness of Idaho, where they tried once more to rebuild.
Or if we convinced Papa Khan to break his allegiance with Caesar and then to leave the Mojave forever.
During the Battle of Hoover Dam, the great Khans quickly evacuated Red Rock Canyon and headed north and east into the plains of Wyoming. There, they reconnected with the followers of the Apocalypse and rebuilt their strength. Bolstered by ancient knowledge of governance, economics, and transportation, they carved a mighty empire out of the ruins of the Northwest.
But if we convinced him to recklessly have one final stand at the second battle for Hoover Dam, and we sided with Yes Man.
After their suicidal last stand at Hoover Dam, the Great Khan ceased to exist as a tribe. The few surviving members dispersed, joining up with other tribes and gangs across the Mojave, and quickly forgot their heritage.
If, when doing the quests for the Kings, we eased tensions between the NCR and the Kings, and we managed to complete that quest diplomatically, but then we decided to side with Yes Man anyway.
Following the second battle of Hoover Dam, Freeside came to be known as one of the more stable areas in the region. Ironically, NCR refugees found Freeside safer than most of the rest of New Vegas, where resentment still lingers.
Or if during the King's quests, we helped Pacer incite full-scale war between the NCR and the Kings, and then we completed the game for Yes Man.
In the aftermath of the second battle of Hoover Dam, the Kings took the opportunity to viciously force all NCR citizens out of Freeside. Travelers from the Republic quickly learned to avoid Freeside if they valued their safety.
Or if we never completed the King's quests, or we did by convincing them to ease tensions with the NCR, but then we never completed King's Gambit for the NCR, and then sided with Yes Man.
The Kings retained their control of Freeside, and while they continued to favor the needs of locals, they tolerated the citizens of the defeated NCR.
I covered the Misfits Yes Man ending in my video on the Misfits, and Novak's ending here is the same as its ending from some of the previous episodes. So moving on to Boone, if we completed his personal quest by convincing him to embrace his vengeance, and then we chose to side with Yes Man.
No longer held in check by his conscience, Boone found lucrative work as a mercenary and assassin. No job was too violent, no target too innocent. As long as the caps were good, Boone would take the job.
But if we completed his quest by convincing him to make peace with what happened at Bitter Springs, and then sided with Yes Man.
Though NCR was withdrawing from the region, Boone remained in New Vegas, finding work as a security guard and caravan scout along the highways. While he might have preferred rejoining his old unit, Boone couldn't bring himself to abandon the city where he'd met his wife.
If we never killed Eddie, the leader of the powder gangers at the NCRCF, and then sided with Yes Man.
The NCR, battered by the loss of the dam, were unable to devote any troops to retaking the correctional facility from the powder gangers. As a result, powder ganger raids on caravans became an unfortunate fact of life in the Mojave for years to come.
But if we did kill Eddie, no matter which faction we sided with.
After Hoover Dam, the leaderless powder gangers at the correctional facility vanished into the wastes, leaving the prison empty. The correctional facility became another abandoned ruin in the wasteland, its carcass occasionally picked over by enterprising prospectors.
If we convinced the NCR to support Prim, taking over the role of law enforcement in Prim, but then we sided with Yes Man, driving the NCR out of the region.
Despite NCR's pledge to support Prim, they abandoned the town after their loss to the Courier. Independent again, Prim operates much as it had before the powder gangs arrived, full of ups and downs.
If we chose not to expose Chief Hanlon and then sided with Yes Man.
Despite distinguishing themselves during the second battle of Hoover Dam, the Rangers' victory was short-lived due to the Courier's interference. Chief Hanlon personally directed the evacuation of the Rangers to Mojave Outpost as they fell back into NCR territory. Bitter over the waste of life in the Mojave, Hanlon stepped down from his post. After a campaign in which he denounced Oliver's and Kimball's hawkish imperialist ways, Hanlon was elected as the Senator of Reading.
If we chose to expose Hanlon, thereby leading to his suicide, and then we sided with Yes Man.
Although they performed admirably during NCR's defense of Hoover Dam, the Rangers fell into decline soon after. With Hanlon's plot against the occupation exposed and Oliver denounced for losing Hoover Dam, many Rangers were greeted coldly on their return home. Few openly blamed the Rangers for Hanlon's treachery, but public and political support for the military as a whole quickly dwindled.
But if we convinced Hanlon to stop falsifying records, sabotaging the NCR's efforts in the Mojave, and then chose to side with Yes Man.
Due to the courier's intervention, Chief Hanlon abandoned his plan to sabotage the defense of Hoover Dam. The Rangers assisted the troopers admirably during the Legion's ill-fated attack. Though the courier snatched victory from NCR, only General Oliver was blamed for the loss of Hoover Dam. Hanlon, exhausted from a lifetime of service to the NCR, stepped down from its position in the Rangers and retired to his ranch in Reading.
And so the courier's road came to an end, for now. In the new world of the Mojave Wasteland, fighting continued, blood was spilled, and many lived and died just as they had in the old world. Because war never changes.
And with that, we complete Fallout New Vegas, having sided with every faction, completed every quest, having discovered every location. In the coming days, I'll release a video on whether or not I think it's wise to side with Yes Man. And a bit later, I'll release another video explaining which faction I ultimately chose to side with and why. I may also release a video later showing my character's endgame slides with an explanation as to why I chose each one. But for now, I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Did you side with Yes Man in your game? Were you pleased, disappointed, or surprised by the endings we got by siding with Yes Man? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I publish many videos each and every week here on my channel, so if you don't want to miss my next episode, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. I have a shirt shop with completely unique designs you can't find anywhere else. My designs come in a variety of men's, women's, and children's sizes, and in a wide array of colors. You can find my designs on other products as well, like smartphone cases, pillows, posters, mugs, stickers, prints, etc. So if interested, you can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with more brand new videos.